Welcome to, I'm just getting all of our speckies together. Welcome to another Moment of Harmony at a regularly scheduled time of Saturday. I'm super excited to get our moment done. We are in a very wonderful series that is going to really allow us to just evaluate how we're reflecting out into our realities, what we are desiring. So let's get all into it today. I just want to do a little bit of making sure we're good. I forgot to add some of my props being so busy this morning, but I feel like we're still good. Camera's good. I'm good. I can see you. We're all good, right? Let's get all into it. Today is August the 22nd. Um, we were in the middle of August last week, so that means that we are moving into the last 2 weeks of August. We are in a reflection series. August is the 8th month of the year, so we're doing as above, so below, as the number 8 represents. Okay, so we are doing as above, so below as we finish out the month of August. We will have this session, one more session next Saturday, and we'll be closing out our August series. For the year of 2026, we've been doing a series of mini series for a moment of harmony, and we are continuing that today. Radical reflection, as above, so below. And we are working in what I call the three main frames of actualization, and we hear them religiously or spiritually all the time, which is sight, words, and hearing. Hearing, sight, and vision. Sight and vision are the same thing. Hearing, vision, speech. Okay, if I get it together. And we are working in those this month as we are doing our check-ins, coming into ourselves, and being able to say where we are so far in the year, and being able to be sorry. Soon as I start, I think it's because I'm so quiet so much throughout the day. And I know y'all like, girl, are you quiet? But I am, because I'm in the house with my children a lot of the time. So outside of, like, especially early in the mornings when I'm up early and everyone's still asleep, I'm not doing a lot of talking. I'm doing a lot of thinking. I'm doing a lot of writing. And then I get in my moment, and then I talk for an hour. And my voice is like, girl, what were you doing? You ain't warm us up? No, me, my, moo. You know what I'm saying? So bear with me. It's all the juices are starting to flow. You know what I'm saying? But yes, so hearing, sight, speech, and we are looking closely into that in this moment and in this series on how that relates to what we are creating for ourselves. I believe that we are still in Aries season. We are. I think we're about a couple of days away from going into Virgo season. So happy birthday if it's your birthday, and if it was your birthday this week, happy birthday to you. Love and light to you. I don't think of no specific ones are popping out. Doesn't mean they aren't there. Love and light to you. Peace and welcome to a moment of harmony. I'm in the chat for those who watch it later on. I'm in the chat. I'm always talking in the chat. So when it sounds like I'm being all over the place, I'm talking in the chat. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Mr. Carter. So, yes. Happy birthday. Okay. If this is your birthday week, you are thought of, you are prayed for, you are important. And I hope you enjoy getting all up into your season. Now today's episode, to get all, because I'm trying to think, like, were there any other announcements? I did just want to bring up the weather. If you're in the DMV area, it is a gloomy, rainy day. So I want to thank you on a day that obviously tells us to rest, for you to take some time out for your moment, to sit with me today, to dialogue with me today, and to exchange. That's a beautiful thing. One thing that I love about rainy days is no matter where in life I am, I always get the urge to get all like rest cuddly and bundled and just rest on a rainy day. And I think the rain always reminds us that watering yourself looks like rest. When we're grinding, because a lot of times, we're grinders, we hustling, we live in a society where the economy is crazy and we're trying to make things happen for ourselves. Cool. But we grind a lot. And I think the rain is a beautiful way of showing us that this balance in nature of that. Yes, the sun shines. You have days where it's easy to be productive, it's hot, it's cool. All of these things change in weather, and we need to honor the changes within ourselves from day to day as well. And rest or watering yourself looks like rest. Peace and welcome, peace and welcome. I am not, to answer that question, I am not, but that's such a funny question. But thank you for joining a Moment of Harmony. And I hope that you come and get everything that you came here for. So love and light. Thank you so much. But the rain reminds us that rest means watering yourself. And when it is a really rainy days, we don't want to do the errands. We normally, again, we want to, we make soups and stews. It's a cozy, cuddly, nurture yourself type of, we give to the world. And again, the grind when is the planting, but the rain is not planting. We're not planting in the rain. The rain is what we planted for, so that we can have that type of rest. So I'm super excited about days like the rain. It sucks because I have things to do today, but it is always reminding me on a rainy day, watering yourself looks like rest. And I made a mental note to share that when we got exchanging today. Watering yourself looks like rest. Grinding looks like grinding. Getting it in looks like getting it in. But watering yourself, nurturing yourself, tuning into yourself looks often like quietness, centeredness, comfort within self. Okay? The rain tells us that. That's just what, life is telling us. But let's get all into this moment today. You said, oh! Mr. Carter. Y'all are so, listen, people are going to be watching this back and they're not going to be in the chat and they're going to be like, what is she talking about? Why is she laughing? Why is she blushing? What is going on? It's a lot going on. I'm going to have to take this jacket off. I think I'm going to have to take my jacket off in a minute. The chat is chatting. Much love to everyone giving energy and love in the chat. I am beyond grateful when the chat is positive and when you guys are interactive and the work that we do together. So thank you so much, love and light, and definitely to the homies. Whoo, let me get a fan. Okay. Now, what in the word? That's what y'all came here for today, right? Isn't that what we all actually came here for today? What is... And now I need some water or some tea. I'm just a girl. You know what I'm saying? Mommy Mercy. So, what was I going to say? Y'all done got me off my square today. And now I need water and everything else. I am going to get a water. Sorry, y'all. I see you laughing at me. Stop that. Excuse me, now I'm going to choke at everything. All right, y'all. We're doing this. We're doing this. So, today's episode, as we get into speech and the power of speech and the necessity of speech and the greatness and grandness of us being able to appropriately assess where we are in our lives, where we're going, what we want and need for ourselves. Today's episode is entitled, and the subject matter that we'll be working under is What in the Word? What in the Word? And we're going to be getting into what in your words are reflecting in your life, what in your words are reflecting in your reality, what in your words are keeping you, moving you, molding you, making you. We're going to be getting into that today. What in the Word? And of course, we've been in this series on radical reflection. We are not just reflecting temporarily, occasionally, superficially. We want our lives to radically reflect a centered, cored version of ourselves. A very confident, a very divine, a very powerful and enlightened version of ourselves. And in order to do that, we need to be that. So we are going to be talking today in radical reflection on the power of the word. Last week we did hearing. This week we are doing the word, speech, sound, vibration. Next week we are closing out with a vision, what we see. So when you're looking at your life and you're saying, we're 8 months into the year, for those watching in real time, in real life in 2026, we're 8 months into the year, and a lot of us are looking at our lives thinking that we should be in a different place, or having different aspirations or ambitions for where we are, really maybe starting to give up hope, or really maybe feeling like we want things to move faster or come along. And I want us to be able to stop and again reanalyze or analyze, if it's your first time, how you are. Yes, last week was what are you hearing? Now I want us to be, what are you saying? What are you saying to your life? What are you saying to your goals? What are you saying to your dreams? What is your speech? Now, what I've come in my bits of research, and the conclusions that I've come to, is that not only am I worried or concerned, I shouldn't use the word worried, not only am I concerned about what our language is like to ourselves, I am now concerned about if we're even talking to ourselves at all anymore, if we're speaking to our lives at all anymore, if we're speaking to our relationships, our careers, our marriages, our families. Are we even speaking to each other actual word, sound, vibration anymore? Last week I spoke on the war on depth. There is a war on depth because depth equals discovery. And there are things about discovering ourselves that aren't conducive to the current world order. So this war on depth, I'm going to move it from hearing into the realm of speech. The war on depth, as it pertains to our speech and our speaking, is that in a vastly technological era, in a vastly artificially social era, so the social medias and platforms, in an era where sensationalism allows us to feel close to people or connected without actually being close or connected, ends up harming, disabling, limiting the depth we have with and for one another. And this is how it, again, we talked last week on what that looks like in hearing, but now I really want to focus on the speech, the speaking part, the vocal, verbal part of our reality, of our actualization, of our healing, of our evolution that is being stifled, and that I want us to be able to have tools to nurture, to navigate, to grow, so that we are still becoming our greatest selves, and that we are not speaking the limitations, the very limitations on our lives that we don't want, or that we aren't speaking any life. We're speaking very limited life on our lives, and we're wondering why there are limits. We're wondering why there is lack. We're wondering why there is a disparity. We're going to get into that. So for those just coming in, my voice, I just almost choked. You know what I'm saying? All on live. And so I just had to drink some water. And the water is working. It's doing its thing. The voice is going to be coming back. I was already a little tired to start with because it's Saturday. But it's coming. All right. So the depth. In this society, in a society where you can type, text, you know, send a song, send a meme, send an emoji, we are limiting, or we're expressing, probably for the first time in history. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Probably for the first time in history, we are experiencing minimal word, sound, vibration. Minimal word, sound, vibration. We have all types of symbols, and we have different types of technology to convey thoughts, and we no longer use or we very sparingly, or the less that we've ever used in history, the actual connection, vibration of word, sound, which literally has its own divine, unique operation and benefit. So I always talk to people who listen to a lot of audiobooks, which I have no issue with. I'm not a big audiobook person myself because I just am in love with the intimacy of actual reading. But I am a big podcast person. I listen to stuff all the time when I'm running errands. Lots of music, but I also will listen. So I get people who listen to books because it's probably the same thing. You're listening to something unfold and auditorily is following you. But I never, ever, ever substitute the auditory what's happening that I can hear for what I actually can read. Because again, hear, see, speak, these things all need to work together in order for us to fully be evolved and fully be elevated in whatever area we're working in. This is why when we get into areas such as intimate spaces, or we get into areas such as music, things that really are spiritual, things that really kind of engulf us as a complete immersive experience, they normally have all the components: the hearing, the sound, the speakers, they're on point, the visual effects, the clothes, the fashion, and then the words, the lyrics, the songs, the art, the sounds. They're all what they need to be. When we think, like I said, when we think about being more in intimate spaces, using all of your senses is what truly engulfs and makes that experience a fully spiritually activated experience and less of an in out wham bam thank you ma'am type of situation. Same thing, we had music for years. We had records, and then there were, I can go down the whole because we've gone all the way from records to iPods and Walkman and all these things. But there was a point in the 90s, well, I think it kind of started in the 80s, where we started to get music videos. Why were music videos so amazing? Why were they so wildly successful throughout my childhood? Is because we took music and we gave it visual. We gave it visual. We gave it a storyline. We were able to hear people talk. People do audio dubs over their music and say words. And y'all, and definitely us that were 90s children, 80s babies, 90s children, there was a lot of talking in our music. Like, girl, don't, I'm trying to think. I can hear it in my head and I don't know. I'm like trying to give it to you, and I know it's not coming out the way I literally hear. But the music will be, I'm thinking Boyz II Men, okay, to be clear. And although we've come to the end of the road, and do you remember when the deeper voiced, I don't know why his name is escaping me right now, but I know it's the Carter probably got me. But the deeper voiced artist in the group Boyz II Men, he would say, I just love you. I'm just not going anywhere. Please don't leave me in the song. But we had tons of, and I might be confusing y'all now, but we had tons of songs like that where while they were singing, while there was music, there would also be a voiceover where the artist comes in and speaks, and it always added an extra depth or extra dimension to the story, to the song, to the way we experienced it. That is because to be completely engulfed in an evolving way, we need to be able to use all of the senses. Now, this is why concerts are successful. Yes, I can listen to India Arie on the music. I can listen to her on the radio. I can watch Mojo Brooks reels forever and a day. I knew you had it. I knew you were coming with it. Thank you, Michael McCary. I just can't go without you, man. I can't do the deep voice. I have a raspy voice, but I can't do the deep voice. But I think maybe I can a little bit. All right, I'm cutting it out. But we can go to an India Arie video, and or I can listen to her song, or I can listen to a comedian or watch a comedian. But going into the actual concert gives us a visual of the performance. I've heard the song, I've listened to the song. Why do I also need to see the performance? Why do we go crazy when an artist takes the microphone, or yeah, all of them are artists, comedians, artists. But when they take the microphone and they start to speak to us, and it is because it expands our experience of whatever it is we've already taken in for ourselves in what was offered to us. When we have minimal word sound, which is the state that we are in right now, when we text more than we talk, when we signal or emote more than we actually express, we begin to minimize the way our thoughts are conveyed to one another, our ideas. We're going to get more into that in a little bit of why that is being carefully curated by the current advancements, right? So before we get into that, I want to go backwards just a little bit into word sound, vibration, and what that actually means to our psyche and our understanding of the world around us. How we don't understand each other as well. How we don't, all the time we talk about texting leading to miscommunication because inflection is important. Tone is important. Word sound vibration is extremely relevant and imperative to the way we absorb one another's energies. Now, when that relates to the bigger picture of our lives, word sound vibration, and how we absorb and understand the purpose of our lives, the mission of our lives, the calling on our season, we are limiting the vibration that's coming through us via our speech, via what is going out and what we are hearing to come in. So the minimal word sound, I've shared this before in a Moment of Harmony, but I know that every moment exchanger hasn't watched every moment in the history of moments. A lot of you have watched a lot of them, and I love you for that. But I've shared the story, so I'm going to share it just briefly again. But my nephew, who is 7 now, when he was much younger, like toddler, like 2 and 3, he used to say whenever anybody was saying something to him that he didn't like, it could be telling him no for something that he asked for. It could be asking him to go to bed, time to go to bed. It could be telling him that he needs to calm down. Somebody could say, hey, you're doing too much, you need to calm down. They could not at all be disrespectful. They could not at all be aggressive. They could not at all be demeaning. But in his little teeny state of being, he would get so upset and we would say, what is wrong with you? And he would say, they talk to me like that. Daddy talked to me like that. Mommy talked to me like that. And we used to think it was the funniest thing in our family because he would never tell you what anyone said. He would never tell you necessarily the way it made him feel. He didn't use like descriptive terminology, but he would say, he talked to me like that. And we understood that that meant somebody said something that he did not like. And when I think back, shout out to Cash, my cachito. When I think back to that, as an adult, me and my friends will sometimes joke, and sometimes even my sister, his mom, will joke like, "He talked to me like that." When something has gone down and work, someone said something we didn't like, or because what Cash wasn't talking about was he wasn't talking about the actual words people were using to him. Nobody, not right now. Don't talk to me like that. He wasn't saying, I don't like your words. Even as a little toddler, what he was illuminating or what he was highlighting was, I don't like the energy. Words are energy. They're how we move energy from one another. They are the mobility of words are the mobility of emotions, of energy. You don't know how I feel. You don't know clearly what I'm thinking. And you don't know what all of my energy is or where I am without really being able to understand my words. Now, the sound vibration, the word is the thought, the statement, the idea. The sound vibration is how I get the word from me to you. This is how I get my ideas to you. This is how I get my energy to you. This is how I get my my thoughts and my essence to you. This is how I get it from me to travel to you. I can write a word and you can read it. That's left up to your interpretation. But once it's like writing a letter and sending it. In order for it to truly resonate and sit in your spirit, you hear it come from me. So what Cash was saying was, this is why we do things like tell people, tell me you love me. Do you love your mama? How much you love your mama? It's not the word that I'm asking for. That's not where I'm getting the validation or the confirmation solely. It is what the word travels in. It is the energy that comes to my heart that allows me to believe and receive what is coming from your heart. Without word sound, it stays in your heart. And then when it becomes a word, it's left up to my interpretation. Once it travels on the vibration of sound, you send it. You are in control of your energy. You are in control of what you convey and express. You are in control of what comes once you send it on a vibration, a sound vibration, speaking. So if things in your life are not what you desire them to be, if things are not moving in the fashion of in which you are desiring, if the energy is not conducive to what you are seeking or have been working, what is the vibration you've been sending your thoughts to travel in, to manifest, to land and become, plant and grow? So he would say, Cash would always say, they talk to me like that. And he was definitely speaking on an energy that he was getting from people. No one talked to him crazy. No one just walked around being aggressive to my nephew. But what he was saying is your energy. You telling me no. You telling me what I can't have. You trying to put me through something I don't want to go through. I don't want to take a nap. It's not at all what you're saying, but it is the energy that's coming in your vibration. Time to go to bed, Cash. Don't talk to me like that. The energy, I don't receive that. We would say, what did you say to him? What did you do to him? I told him that he need to clean up his toys. They talk to me like that. Energy. Cash was very much speaking about energy. In the frame set of today, right? When we get back into this era of technology, when we get into this era of communication and expression, we are seemingly the most connected generation, or in one of the most connected eras of life. Literally, I've been on a Moment of Harmony and they say, hey, from Indonesia, hey, from Paris, hey, from the Middle East. And it's like, whoa, how I just went live in my space here in the DMV area. And now I'm talking to someone in Indonesia. I'm being able to share my thoughts and my work and my research across the world with just pushing a simple button. Dating apps and what is it called? Ancestral DNA apps and all of these things supposedly are connecting us, greatly connecting us. But we are the most disconnected spiritually of all generations, is what I feel. Because we will sit up and we would type to someone. And like I said, send symbols and emojis and memes and music and everything but the travel of what's in my heart to travel to what's in your heart. I watch my 12-year-old who is a gamer. And he plays games with people all day. Now, he does sometimes have the earphones in and he is talking to people sometimes. But there are some people on other games like Roblox where it's all typing. The communication is all typing. Where he can literally say, and I have my students do the same thing. I have a friend on Roblox. Or where do they live? Or what is their name? I don't know their whole name. I only know their computer name, their username. Well, this is your friend. Yes, we got to meet up at this time and we do this thing and we're friends and we talk about what goes on in our lives. But have you ever talked to them? Never spoke to them. We're building connections and relationships on minimal word, sound, vibration. It's scary to me. because you cannot completely understand. Think about when you watch, think about when you listen to a DJ. We've said this all before, or for those like myself who have like remote abilities to work remote. And think about when you have work relationships. I know at DPSC, well, I know that working at the state, I had to go with many times I'm building work relationships and connections, and we're making things happen regularly. I mean, I'm speaking to people on a regular basis, calling up to this department, calling up to that department. Some people in the same building, some people in other regions, never late. I have a supervisor that I had very close connection to. We spoke all the time, was a part of my training, was a part of things going on in my life. When my brother died, sent cards, and I mean, and we did Zooms every now and again. Never physically met this woman in my life, right? But I've had Zooms with her. Now let's think about some of the other people that I've never had a Zoom with. I'm calling their departments. They may be, we may be, what is it like? Intersecting, so they may not even be with my company, and so we're cross-referencing and things like that. And I'm just talking regularly. Hey, yep, I'm calling up to get this done today. I'm sending an order over for that. I'm sending a client over for this. Yeah, good. How are the kids? Back to school. Happy holidays. So on and so forth with people I've never seen. That is very normal for today, but it was never a thing really in the past. Everyone you worked with, for the most part, you saw. But I can say myself that I've worked in departments where there's hundreds of people I've never actually laid my eyes on, that I may talk to every day. Now, I'm bringing up that point. Think about also a DJ or listening to the radio. How many times have you listened to radios? I'm from the radio era. I know everybody else is not so much still on the radio era, but that's my age. You know what I'm saying? So think about when you're listening to someone on the radio and the first time you see them in real life, a commercial, an event. And what is the number one thing we always say when we see someone that a relationship was primarily built on one or the other, or the relationship was primarily built on hearing them, but never seeing them, right? We always say we feel connected to the word, sound, vibration. Speaking will always connect and bond you quickly. This is why we speak to plants. This is why they tell doulas and mothers and parents to speak to sick babies. This is why they tell you to speak to loved ones in comas, because the word, sound, vibration is divine implementation of energy. I wish I could think of the woman's name that I'm thinking about right now, but I watch a lot of her videos on manifestation, and she is powerful. But she says your word is your wand. And it has changed the way I even say little things to this day. Your word is your wand. And I kid you not, when I say I don't want this, I don't like this doesn't work for me, in some way it is destroyed. It is removed. It is diminished. When I say I want, I need, I sure would like, it'll be creepy. It'll be your word is your wand, right? But think about, let me finish this one thought. Think about DJs or people you build work relationships with that you never really see. The moment you see them, the first thing we say is good to put a face with the voice. It's good to put a face with the voice. The reason that we say that is because we can build deep connections with a voice. This is the power of word, sound, vibration. Imagine watching a TV screen, watching a newscaster every day. You watch the news every day, and a newscaster come on, but you can't hear what she's saying. She's dressed up. She looks beautiful. She's talking, but you never hear her words. But you watch her every morning. Never hear her words. Now, imagine it the other way around, like we do on the radio, where you never see them, but you always hear them. Do we not feel close to them? Do not laugh with those people? Do we not feel connected to whatever your morning radio commute people are? Or whatever shows you listen to in that way. Do you feel connected to the podcaster? I know we do, because I hear people say all the time, yeah, I listen to this one. I like this guy. This guy, man, this is a dope dude. This is a deep dude. This is an intelligent person. Never saw them. Don't know what they look like. You just listening. Because of the power of word sound. So we always say it's nice to put a face with the voice, because with just the sound vibration, you have endowed me with the ability to create in my mind what you look like, what you are like. I can now take literally sound and create. So many times they say, oh, you don't look like what you sound like. Yes. You see what I'm saying? Same thing. Yes, Mr. Carter, you were on it. But so many times we say, oh, you don't look like what you sound like. I can't tell you how many times people thought I was another race. People think I'm a big woman because my raspy voice. People are always shocked who only hear my voice. When they see me in person, they do not picture this tiny little woman coming about. But because my vibration gives enough power for imagination. So you get people to say, I didn't, I went and that you don't look at all like what I thought you looked like. And you're like, well, why would you think I look like? But it happens. It's the way creation works. All we need is a powerful vibration to build off of. Powerful can be positive. Powerful can be negative. So I can build an entire idea off your vibration of a verbal vibration. But I don't sit and watch all the time, just watch something without sound and assume I know what that person sounds like. It's harder to imagine. But I can, again, think about reading a book. When I read a book, I've never imagined what the author looks like. When you read the author's note or introduction, I'll read it and I'm literally interpreting. I'm into the words, right? I'm literally interpreting the perspective of the author based on their words. I'm not caught up in what they look like. Are they skinny, fat, tall, short, man, woman? For the most part, I'm caught up in the words that they wrote, because it is easy for me to take the word, the thoughts. The word is the thought, and to stay beyond the conveying of it. This is where I just interpret. But it is not the same if I hear someone and I'm not seeing them. I'm reading their words, but I don't know what this author looks like. I never saw this author before. I just want to read the book. I'm not really caught up in making who is this person like. But think about when you start to hear someone's voice. You start to think about what they're like. You start to think about how they feel. You start to think about how they are. You start to think about what resonates with you and them. It's the sound vibration. When we get into spiritual or biblical terms, religious terms, they call the Bible the Word. Many people would say, today, as we get into the Word, or you hear people say, oh, me and my husband, we get into our Word. The Bible is not a word. The Bible are many, many words. Why do we call it a word? Because we're talking about the vibration. We're talking about the energy. This is the energy, religiously speaking, for people who take part in that religious, that is their vibration. They're not saying the is hath, right? They're saying the word. When we hear poetry, and when we're in my neck of the woods, we call it spoken word. Well, we're speaking many words. And how is spoken word different from me saying, hey, how y'all doing? As opposed to me reciting a line, a poetic, prophetic word and line and cadence and motion. I'm talking about the energy. We say spoken word. We're not saying it's any different than me speaking words. We're talking about the art as an energy. Many times in slang or urban culture, we'll say when we hear something that resonates with us, that means something to us, that interests us or intrigues us, or that we agree with or are into, we'll say, word, word. You know that we all gonna be off on Friday. They giving us an extra payday. Word. What does that mean? Energy. It means I'm with the energy. I feel the energy. I resonate with the energy just emitted or exuded from you. So now that we have gone all up into the power of the word, I'm a word girl. I am a poet. I'm a lyricist. I'm a writer. I am an orator, a speaker. Words are my thing. You know what I'm saying? So outside of words being my thing, let's get back into the spiritual realm of word usage and taking it where we need to go for the evolution of the rest of our year. Now that we can sit and say these are all the ways that words are actually energy and spelled out right before us about what the power of word does, what do we think is happening in the minimalization of word sound vibration? Where we text more than we talk, where we send memes and songs and emojis and symbols way more than we've ever just actually expressed sounds to one another. What is happening to us now, right? So this brings me to our next point where we get into speaking less, okay? The definition in why, okay, this is the first place I'll go with this, right? The first place is, why is it important? Why is it important for the current agenda or the times of technological advancement? Why is it important that we minimalize word sound vibration towards one another? Why do we need to find more ways to limit the way human beings actually speak to one another? One of them is because artificial intelligence cannot mimic, as you can tell, at least now we can tell, most of us can tell, when something is AI. We can hear the robotic in a voice. We know we're not listening to an actual human being. We know when listening to, it's not a real, when my daughter has baby dolls that cry. I know when I'm listening to an electronically created cry as opposed to the cry of an actual newborn. I literally have a spiritual and physical reaction differently. I don't care where I am in the world, and my babies are so big now. I don't even have any little babies. But if I hear a newborn cry, it does something to me still, right? I still am, girl, you out at the Walmart and you don't have, guess what? You don't have a baby. Calm down. But the spiritual connection that I have to that is real. And we all can really still understand the difference. So one of the reasons why it's important in the agenda of today, but not for the longevity or the expansion of your spirit, but it's important for the expansion of capitalism and the expansion of electrocurrency, is that, or technocurrency, shall I say, is that one, if we can get humans a lot less used to hearing each other, we can get them used to not hearing each other. That's one thing. Think about when we're in text messages. I do a lot of voice clips. Me and the bestie, I probably voice clip with her 1,000 times a day because we always have a lot to say to each other, and we always, both of us are long voice clippers, and we mostly deal with people who don't want to listen to a lot of voice clips. So she and I have that where we are good with, girl, this is what I'm thinking. We literally use each other as audio diaries. So shout out to the bestie. But when I express as opposed to when I type, when she can hear my sighs, when she can hear my pauses, when she can hear my inflections, when she can hear my voice go low, it's real. Me and my sisters, shout out to my sissy poos. Me and my sisters have a sister thread. And my big sister probably voice clips us more than we voice clip her, but we do clips every now and again. But she's a big clipper, voice clipper. But we can text all day on one subject, and we can send each other reels, which we do. And we can laugh, and we can joke, and we can do emojis. But something different happens when I hear my big sister leave a voice clip. I've been reading her all day, but the first time I actually tune into where she is, it takes me from her words and the words that I'm looking at, and then and literally when I hear her voice is the first time I see her face. We can be texting all day. When my sister sends a voice clip, I see my sister. When I'm hearing it, whatever she's describing, it becomes so much more. So she can say, y'all, I'm tired. I need a nap. And we can all do laugh out loud, emoji, emoji, emoji. But when she sends that voice clip and I hear in her voice, it changes the way I am experiencing her. And one of the reasons why we are being minimized in word, sound, vibration, human to human, is it's beginning to change the way that we experience one another so that we can adapt to experience a life with less depth. Okay. What do I mean by that? Girl, what you talk about? What you talk about, Willis? Words communicate ideas. This is why words are so important. What I create in my mind, body, heart, soul, spirit, my words help me to give that to you. Written word helps me to spell it out for you. Word sound helps me to deliver it to you as it was intended. The exact way it came from me. No telephone, no game of telephone, no middleman, no interpreter. This is where it came from. When we go to the doctor, what makes our illnesses or our ailments real? I can go in there and the doctor don't know what's wrong with me. I don't have any open wounds. I don't have any broken bones. I'm not bleeding. There's no external openings that are going on that the doctor can look in and say, oh, obviously your nose is broken, or obviously you're bleeding out your shoulder. What I am able to do, yes, Ashe. You know what I'm saying? Because it works the same way with us. We can text and we send reels. We do all of that stuff all the time. But definitely when I talk to you is when we really check in. It's like our check-in is like it's solid. We laugh, we joke. I know what's going on. And I'm in the chat for those that make me sound all over the place. I'm in the chat. But think about when we're in the doctor and I can say, the doctor may say, what is going on with you? How do I convey what's happening inside my body? My body's language. Now I could be slumped over and the doctor can say, oh, she's holding her stomach. So visually something might be going on with her stomach. Who knows? I can hold my stomach when I'm nervous. It is my words that lets the doctor into my body. Before they run tests, before they draw blood, it is your words that let people into your world. This is the point. It is your word, sound, vibration. I could write it on the paper, upset stomach. Or I can say, doctor, I'm in excruciating pain. Isn't that different from upset stomach? I haven't been able to eat for 3 days and I can't sit up straight. Look at what my word sound just did about what's happening. This changes things from us. This takes us on a journey. I can sit right in this one seat and I can say, this was the best day of my life. Look what I just delivered to you and how it hit in your spirit. You're thinking about all the things that would make a best day of a life. Before I elaborate, you're already in your brain has been able to take my energy and create what the best day of a life would look like. Oh, what'd you do today? You're already coming up with ideas. Words communicate ideas. They generate more ideas. Keep up why us being minimized in words is happening. Now, if I say, you know what? It was a long day, Mom. And when my teacher said such and such, something broke in me. Just words. But what is conveyed to me from your spirit? You could say it was a rough day. But when you say it was a horrible day, and I was disrespected, I was violated, and something broke in me. Spiritually, you just took me on a journey through your experience. But we say we know each other. We say that we know what we want in our lives. We say that we're involved and we're connected. We're so enlightened. But we don't take spiritual journeys into one another verbally anymore, right? So why is that happening? And why is that important? And why should we be working as hard as we can to hold on to the depth of speech and radically reflect in our higher self, or above spiritually what needs to come into our physical lives with our verbal abilities, right? With our powers of oration. Words communicate ideas. Okay. When it comes to this lack of spiritual journeys within one another, that becomes so important because words communicate ideas. They grow ideas, they enact ideas, and I send my ideas to you intentionally, and they grow quickly without much waste of space and time for interpretation, miscommunication, and distraction. Words communicate ideas. Okay, cool. We use words. We on Facebook, we read words. Words. If words communicate ideas and thoughts become things, right? Thoughts become things. That's major manifestation. What you're thinking becomes what you see, becomes what you get, becomes what you have. I was listening to a neuroscientist the other day on a podcast. Can't remember his name. Sorry, y'all. It's at this point where I listen to too much stuff while I'm driving. I run a lot of errands, okay? I'm a mom, okay? Run a lot of errands, and so I listen to a lot of podcasts all the time, especially stuff that I really am interested in. Also, because there's a minimal communication in the world, I find myself becoming very, very bored with human interaction because no one wants to talk. Nothing is. So my brain is highly stimulated. So I need to listen to stuff a lot. Stuff that intrigues me, stuff that makes me think, things that make me grow, things that make me motivated, things that make me stretch. I have to do it. So bear with me. I was listening to this man the other day. He's a neuroscientist and he studies the he studies energetic flow. What happens to the brain when we believe, when we hope, when we create, okay? And he said this, that was very true. He said, He said, we do not believe what we see. He said, we see what we believe. It is quite the opposite. It's not that you show me something and then I believe it. It's that I believe a thing and I see it in whatever comes out in my life, whatever is around me. Perspective, okay? So I don't see a thing and I believe it, but I believe a thing and so I see it. It's the other way. Again, we are author, we are creator, we are source energy that comes from us. That goes back to thoughts become things. That goes back, I wish I could think of what those pictures are called, but when there are pictures that could be seen in multiple different ways, and they'll say, what do you see? Do you see a woman, or do you see a rabbit? Or do you see a man holding a crayon? And the same image, and so many people see it different ways. That again goes to show how we are in control of what is real in our lives. So if thoughts become things, and words communicate ideas, thoughts. In order to create the things, we need the thoughts. And the thoughts become things, and the thoughts come from words, and the words, that's it, right? Where are the words coming from? Are the words written? Are the words turned into symbols for the thoughts that we get? Are the words communicated on a spirit? This is what takes a word from paper to spiritual. Do you have spiritual oration and direction of your thoughts? This is why we've been minimalized in speech. So if thoughts become things and our ideas are being limited because of a minimal word sound vibration, it means that that's happening not only because thoughts are becoming things, but because we are now becoming things. I know y'all like, girl, I ain't no thing. You ain't no thing. I don't know what you're talking about. Which is my thing? But here's the thing. I don't even want to say bars. That was just a little bit of a pun. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing. When we say thoughts become things, and thoughts are ideas, and words communicate ideas, and we're being limited on words, which means ideas are being limited, which means the things are being controlled to also have us be things. And you say, I ain't no thing. Okay, I'm a queen, I'm a goddess, you a king, you know, you're not a thing. But here's what's happening in our lives of mass connection and extreme exposure to socialization, but minimal depth. We become things. You have people in your life that are things to do. Your kids is a thing to take care of. You get into marriages and relationships and you don't even like each other. After a while, you become something in the house, something I wake up next to, something I'm married to. Thoughts become things, and then our thoughts come from ideas that are communicated from words, and the words are being controlled and they're being minimized and they're being artificialized. And therefore, we are turning things that can grow off the power of word. And we're minimizing the operation of things that grow off the power of word. Affirmation, attention, motivation, good morning. This is real. I don't go anywhere without saying good morning. I'm all day, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Not because I don't think anybody doesn't know it's morning, but because there is a divine vibration and an awakening in me spiritually that I'm obligated to offer to others and vice versa. If I walk into a space, how is everybody doing in here? Have a great day. I was in the social something administration for something that's going on with my daughter and her dad the other day. And when I left out, I was like, everyone, please have a blessed and safe Friday on my way out. Why did you need to do that? You don't even know all those people. Because I understand that the vibration in my sound is coverage, right? I understand that the vibration in my voice and yours, not just mine, and the voice of human divine beingness, it breaks monotony. It breaks and causes distraction and division. It is power. My word is my wand. I wish I could remember the lady's name, but I got to give her credit. She knows when she said it, right? My word is my wand. And I wave unity. I wave peace. I wave growth. But if we don't talk, I wave nothing. If you don't get the vibration from my voice, you get nothing. You get to interpret what you think I am attempting to offer into your life or into your day. Again, there are those of us, like myself, a sapiosexual. There are people that are into, the sound, all of the things, again, that invoke passion and engulfment and pleasure. All of those things normally come from what I hear, see, think, and the coordinates of those. Because that's what spiritual unity is. It's why we say mind, body, soul. There is no one component. Yes, Ashe. Yes, you got it, Mr. Carter. There is no one component. So here's the thing. Thoughts become things. We limit our thoughts. We limit us. And we become things too. Right? We also become things. We talk to our supervisors or our managers and say, listen, I'm not just a number. I'm not just a cubicle. Because why? We feel like we're being treated like a thing. Hey, I'm not just something else for you to do today. I'm a whole. But is it the fault of us? Or is it a structural process that is taking place that is removing us from the spiritual responsibility, empowerment, and evolution of what we do and why it matters? Now, we got to get up out of here, okay? So on that note, because I'm about to run over, and I do have stuff to do today, even though I know it's about to thunder and storm, I have things to do today. So, but this is like one of my favorite things to do today. So don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? As we get ready to close out of here, there is a becoming a minimal word sound vibration normalcy that is being enacted on us as a generation, as an era, we're changing and we're shifting, and we've seen this happen many times, from Morse code to the actual telephone, which connected us and grew people and allowed people to hear, go from code do 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 to actual hearing each other's voices and staying connected. Yeah, I was close to my grandmother. I talked to my grandmother every day, right? I talked to my grandmother every day. Connection, vibration, spiritual touring within one another. We say when we're dating somebody, I'm talking to that person. What does that mean? That means that there is an actual bonding that is going on through communication, talking to. We say, watch who you're talking to. Who are you talking to? What? Why are you? Keep a respectful tone. I was watching a show earlier today, and there was an altercation, and the boyfriend wanted to become. He wanted to demean his girlfriend, but he was on live TV or national TV, so he didn't want to be outwardly aggressive. You could tell he was trying to hold back, but he just used certain tones and languages to let her know he was coming for her. And she said, don't be disrespectful. He didn't say nothing disrespectful. Energy, communication, is all real. If how we communicate and what we put out, what vibrates literally from us, there's an actual vibration in tone and speech. It creates the energy and the ideas and the reality of what we're conveying. Then how does that relate to our lives? How does that relate to if we have the careers we want yet, if we have the spouses or partners we want yet, if we have the networks that we want yet, if we have the resources, the home, the car, if how does that, what are you saying to your life? What is the word, sound, vibration that you're putting out into creation, or the lack thereof? Are you not covering your life? You say you feeling tired and you feel attacked, and I hear people say this. It's just no reason. It's no use to even go out here and do anything, because as soon as you do, is another thing coming and another thing coming and another come. You're not speaking coverage. You're not speaking protection. You know what I'm saying? You're not speaking. What is it? I'm thinking of, okay, this is the visual in my head, right? Thinking of when the world is flooding and you have a pillar or something that you can stand on that keeps you from getting wet, right? That type of provision of elevation. That's the word I'm looking for. Don't ask me why it works like that. It works like that. Elevation. You're not speaking elevation above, right? You're speaking defeat. So what I've learned, and this is one of the big, same woman that I learned, can't get her name right. It's in my phone. I can tell you that. I did record everything in my phone. But is the woman that I learned the term, your word is your wand. Okay. She also is really big on like talking to money, like as a person. Peace. Yes. Hi, Auntie. Yes, speak life. She's really big, and she changed my consciousness over time with many. There are also other people, Lisa Nichols. There's a lot of work I've done around money, right? But to change my consciousness and my relationship with money, one of the first things I did was I was gifted a money plant, and I named her Abundance, and I call her Bundy, because she's a plant, is something that I can see that is easily, to me, she represents finance, because she's a money plant. She represents financial overflow and gain. And so she reminds me to speak to my money. It sounds funny, but she reminds me to speak to my money bars. When I see my plant that's so growing so beautifully, I say, look at us, girl, because the bigger she gets, the more money I'm supposed to get. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be like, go ahead, Bundy, talk to her. You need more water. But she reminds me that there is an actual relationship that I have with money, that I don't need to force, that doesn't need worry, that doesn't need discontent, that doesn't need trauma, that doesn't need unhealthy patterns. It just needs nurturing and growth. How does she remind me of that? Because she's a plant. And all I have to do is make sure she's in the right position, in proximity to the sun, and I just need to water her. And she reminds me that my relationship with money is like that. Are you in the right position? Now nurture your water. And I speak. So I go from that to this person that I'm just talking about. Your word is your wand, woman. And she teaches to actually speak to your money. And just, money, come to me. Money, I am available. Money, we are friends. Mon frère, my friend. Many of us have scarred relationships with money. Either people who are negligent with it and reckless with it, or people who have a scarcity mindset around it, or people who grew up watching people worry and stress about it and do horrible things for money all the time. You begin to hate money. I was listening to a live the other day, and I heard a brother saying he don't want money, he don't like money, he don't like money at all. And I was just thinking, like, I was thinking all of the trauma in the language about this currency, about it's an energy. It's energy, about this energetic flow. I'm not talking about the paper of it. I'm not talking the amount of it. I'm talking about simply this flow of energy, which is finance. And learning how to talk to it. So let me go through what I'm saying. As we close out today, I want us to be very clear when we're talking about radical reflection. I want my as above to reflect my below radically, unapologetically, completely, divinely, successfully. And therefore, I need to make sure that I'm watching that what I speak not only creates in the reality, but it serves me in the spirit, right? It is what I am speaking is becoming to my vision. So I'm not with it today. I don't feel like it today. These people ain't trying to, not speaking. What are you saying if you are saying anything? We are, again, limiting. We have devices galore. We're on TV. I know for me, I can go way into the middle of the day. Unless, I'm speaking to my children, but when I'm at work or I'm working on a project and there's, I can go hours without speaking to anyone. But I've begun to train myself to speak to my life right off the bat. I have things that I say as soon as I wake up in the morning, declare, because I'm speaking to my life. I don't let this current society keep me from using the divine gift of verbal spiritual journey, which is sound vibration. So I speak soon as I wake up in the morning. I speak to creation. I speak to my life. I speak before I touch my phone. I speak to my body, to my finances, to my life, because this is a life where we can go and we can only speak to someone who speaks to me. Now think about that saying, speaking only when spoken to. Look at the things that you are lacking. Look at the things that you need. Are you speaking to things that may be waiting to be spoken to speak back? What are you saying to your happiness? What are you saying to your life? What are you speaking to your dreams? What are you speaking to your romantic ambitions? What are you speaking to your your material and resource realm of ideas and collaborations and creative options or opportunities? What are you saying about that to that? While you're sitting here in the 8th month of the year saying, oh, this didn't happen or that didn't happen, or this is probably not going to happen. I have 4 more months before the end of the year, and I'm probably going to end it like this, and I'm probably going to end it like that, and you probably are. Because speak life, divine, what's in the word? Like this episode is entitled, What in the Word? Not what the words, but what in your words? What is being conveyed in your words? What energies are being born in your words? What flow is being enacted in your words? In your very life today? If you think about it, yes, write it out, but what are you saying? When I write my affirmations or I write my manifestations, I always say them. Yes, I just spent an hour writing all of this, but I'm also about to speak it, because this is where it travels. Are we having things travel to our bank accounts? Not just deposits from institutions. Are you sending energy to travel to your account, to travel to your loved ones, to travel to your goals? Are you sending energy that travels to your body? This, as we close out, is called life talk. Are you speaking to your life? And like I did with the plant, sometimes it may take something symbolic that helps get you into the flow of speaking to your life consciously, intentionally, divinely. And then it may become a regular practice from here on out, speaking out to your life in one way or another. That's how I learned to talk to my money, right? Mon frere, the homie, okay? Life talk. Talk to your body. Don't not speak against your body, not complain about your body. Who is actually talking to their body? I'm proud of you. Look what you've done for me. My body has given me, most of them are adults now, but 5 beautiful children, with no surgeries, no stitches, nothing. Listening to my body. I've listened to it all this long time. It's got me here, okay? And now I need to talk to it so it can get me there. It's done its part. I need to do my part. Speak to it. Thank you. Be healed, be loved, be appreciated, be unapologetically and radically accepted. I love you, girl. Pinky toe, muffin top, big bright smile, what have you. It's mine. And I love you. Speak to your body. My grandma used to have a saying that I used to think was so funny. I don't think it's so funny no more because I'm 40. But there was a time my grandmother, she would get up out of a chair, or she would get ready to go to bed after sitting there for hours after work, and she would start with the grunting and the oohing and the and she would say, oh body, don't you know me? And we used to think that was so funny, but she was saying to her body in her process of aging, and her body in the process of changing, and Lord have mercy, does it, okay? But she was saying, and she was speaking to it. Listen, I'm trying to go up these steps. I'm trying to make this next move. Do you know who I am? Do you recognize me? Don't you? But it was her way. Now, my grandma's country, and they got their sayings. But I look at that differently. Like, grandma used to speak to her body all the time. Talk to your body. Tell your body, listen, I got this. We got this. Send out that vibration of vibration of victory, that vibration of spirit to your body. I was listening to another podcast recently about just spiritual recentering when it comes to manifestation. And this guy, don't ask me his name, I was watching him really in the middle of the night, so I barely got through the whole thing, but still very powerful what I saw. And he was doing some diagrams that were very helpful. But one of the things he said was, when you start to feel too as above, so below, when you start to feel less spiritual and more human than you are feeling spiritual, when you are more into kind of the distractions of the physical, the limitations of the physical, you feel restless, you feel stuck. He says, immediately take yourself out by looking at something, either something that's happening, something in nature, or something beautiful in your life, and say, that's spirit. And watch how it begins to stand up strong in you again, the spiritual self. It works. I use it. I'm just saying, whenever I start to feel like, why is this happening? Why is this happening again? I'm stuck in a pattern. I'm stuck in a cycle. I'm dealing with something I don't want to do. I'm completely over something. When I start to see what he said was that spirit, which I identify with, but what that can sound like in more common terminology is people being able to acknowledge the God in things, that God is here, that God is present, that life and spirit is present. Because the distractions of life will begin to create a division that will limit our creation power. And that's why I talked about the minimalizing of word sound, because that's a superpower and it's being minimalized. So we're shrinking in our ability to create the environment and the actuality and the reality that we really deserve. So speak to your body. My grandma used to do that, and now I get it. She was really trying to, and I get it. Listen, I stood up this morning, the whole right knee just was all the way to the bathroom. It took me walking back home to my bed for the knee even joined me. Okay, it joined in the operation because I'm 40. And now I know why grandma was talking to her body. Talk to it. Work with me. We doing this. Come on. You got it. Okay? Talk to time. Talk to time. I cannot tell you how much as a mom of adult children and now a grandmother that I tell time, be gracious, be kind. Time, give me 1 second. Be loving, be compassionate. What just happened? Who's 22? What's happening? My oldest daughter will be 18 in 4 months. When I realize things like that, to pull me out of the place of anxiety or the place of rush or the place of regret or fear or worry, I go to kind, be kind, time, be kind. Be kind, time. I know you got things to do. I know you're on a frequency, but work with me. I'll say, work with me, time. Help me be in alignment with you. What's going on with you? Because I still see a baby, but this is about to be an 18-year-old, and be kind, time. I speak to time. If I'm rushing in the morning and I feel behind, I calm myself and I put myself in alignment with a higher frequency by saying, listen, thank you, time. Thank you for working with me today. Thank you for being on my side today. Thank you for your alignment. I kid you not, it works every time. Whatever I'm trying to get to, it gets faster. Or the person that's waiting on me also needs a delay. Talk to time. Talk to your inner child. This is a big one. I know we got to get out of here. This is a big one. Talk to your inner child. I have a picture of me as a baby up on my wall. My grandma actually used to keep this picture in her house a long time ago, and I've seen it my whole life. And now I keep it up in my room, not my house, my living room, not a hallway. Literally in my bedroom before I can leave out of my door is this big old baby picture of me because I talks to her. For anybody that ever let her down, for anyone who never showed up for her, for anybody that made her feel less than, for anybody that didn't do what was needed, who never heard her all the way out, I literally talk to baby Harmony and I always say, boo, we got this today. I got you today. Don't even worry. I got you today. I'm going to make you strong. I'm going to make you powerful. I'm going to feed you good things. I'm going to make sure that you're brilliant, you're bright, and you're every single thing that I ever imagined you could be. We're doing that today. I talk to her because she's very much still alive inside of me. This is what trauma and triggers are. Trauma and triggers are that little child still healing when somebody's trying to bring something aggressive or something transgressive upon the healing of your inner child. Oh, no, when I was growing up, they used to call me names. Don't call me names. Don't joke. The reason you can't take that joke is because it's that little girl in you still feels that pain. It's not funny to you. Talk to her. Talk to him. The neglected little boy, the little boy waiting on his father, the little boy waiting to be validated, to be respected, to be shown love, to be spoke to like a little man. Speak to your inner child. I recently went through a horrible, or like an altercation, if you will, but just like a really depleting situation. It was a situation that it was heartbreaking. That's what I'll say. I was in a situation with a close friend and the situation just wasn't going really well. And it was hurtful. It felt painful. That's what I'll say. I won't say the person was hurtful, but I will say the situation was painful to experience. And the first thing I did, because something took place where in the situation, there was an immediate reminder to me as a child of being rejected, abandoned, left alone to fend for myself, right? It came up just like that. And the first thing I did before I didn't start crying, I didn't start screaming, I didn't go call nobody. First thing I did was I grabbed my heart because I don't know if it's just me, maybe y'all too, but literally I can feel the heart pain. And I've said this before. There was a time when my feelings would be hurt and maybe you want to cry and you just tell people, oh, my feelings were hurt. But literally now, I would say in the past 10 years, whenever my feelings are actually hurt or I'm sad about something, I can literally feel pain in my chest. And not like a heart attack pain. It's its very own special feeling I can feel in my heart chakra. It's crazy to me. But as soon as I felt it, that pain, that heartbreak, right? I just grabbed it and I started talking to her. And I was like, "Boop, don't you break down. I got you. We got this. You're okay." I literally told little Harmony, "You're okay." Because I know what it means to her to be disappointed, to be neglected, to be ignored or pushed to the side or treated a certain way. Just I know what that means 40 years later for her to have to take this journey with me into who I am. I know what parts of her are still coming together under those scars, right? So talk to your inner child. You want to out here and you want to be in relationships, you want to date people, you want to marry people, you want to start businesses, you want to start networking, you want to connect with other people. Who is talking to the that baby inside of you? That makes it hard for you to hear what other people have to say. That makes it hard for you to grow and expand. That creates blockages of fear and worry and disdain. And like we spoke of last week, I hear differently because of how I hurt, right? So talk to that. Let's heal this person. Let's remind yourself, this is why I do what I do. I tell Harmony, you deserve, if you didn't hear it, I'm not saying I didn't hear it, right? But what I'm saying, if it wasn't conveyed to me from whom I wanted it in the way that I needed it, I tell her now, you deserve, Ashay, yes. You deserve, yes. You deserve love. You deserve connection. You are worthy. Tell her, tell him. You know what I'm saying? Talk to your inner child. Do that thing. Talk, and we talked about speaking to money. That was on the last of my list. But these are just a couple of I just like little pieces I pulled out of life to have life talk. We're gonna close this down because it's long. But when it comes to the power of the word, what in the word? What in your words are creating your reality? What in your words are feeding your thoughts? What in your words are healing you or condemning you or anchoring you to pain, low vibration, and destruction and lack? What in your words are elevating you, pushing you up, being a pillar of success and elevation for you? What in your words are creating the reality that you are in today, building your hope, living your hope, sparking your creativity, giving you writer's block, diminishing your openness and your vision of artistic gain and creation? It is all in the blink of operation. Let's change our operation. Let's have radical reflection of what we want, where we're going, what we're worthy of, and the mission of our lives, and what is actually in our lives today. Let us see what's best for us. Let us have what's best for us. Let us speak what's best for us. All right, y'all, that was a lot. And it was long, but I love y'all. Y'all stayed around. I got to go get out of here. I have errands to run before the storm gets storming. Thank you for joining me for another Moment of Harmony. Go ahead, take really good care of yourself. Really good care, love, and light for yourself. And then go on out your way after you've done some real good things for you. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, wash your face, take a good shower, work out, what have you. Do good things for you. After you've done that, go on out your way and take really good care of someone else. I love you all so much. I'm so appreciative of you, and I will see you next week for another Moment of Harmony.